the white supremacists always influence non-white people to be supportive of the system of white supremacy. That's what they do. And so you just try to keep your mind as best you can. See, everything is in the mind eventually. So you have your intent intact, that what this system needs is to be replaced, not overhauled or modified. The system of white supremacy has to be completely replaced with what? A system of justice, where it's guaranteed that everybody ultimately is a constructive person, a person that does everything, including entertain themselves in a manner that produces a constructive result. The white supremacists, their interaction with non-white people all over the world is what? What I call the 3 T's, and it's in the word guide.
Okay.
And that is the tragic arrangement that they have with the non-white people of the planet. And what is this tragic arrangement? It's something slips in my mind right now.
It's all right. It's all right. Take your time.
But it's the 3 T's. And tacky, that's it. Tacky, trashy, terroristic.
Wow.
Tacky, trashy, terroristic. Now, when you look in day to day in an office or anywhere else, if you look at the way that black people and white people interact with each other, it's really tacky. It's not smooth. It's not normal. It's not natural. It doesn't have a smooth, even flow to it. It looks like everybody's kind of going through some type of act, like everybody's being deceitful. Everybody's, either going overboard, trying to be overly polite, or there's a little subliminal hostility going on there, and people walking around smiling and all like that. But I mean, everything kind of seems artificial. So that's what you call tackiness. It's just pure tackiness. And when they try to improve on the tackiness, like at Christmas parties and things like that, it gets what? It gets trashy. And they start expecting the black females to get up on the table and do the shake dance and all this type of thing. I've seen it myself, as far back as I can remember. It's Christmas time, and this is when everybody's supposed to get loose at the office and all like that. But see, black people are expected to be the entertainment committee.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And usually they go for the black females. You people know how to entertain. Get out here and entertain us. You are the minstrel show people. And we'll stand back and watch. And we'll participate on the periphery. But you are supposed to be the center stage people when it comes to entertaining the emperors of Rome, the emperors of the system of white supremacy, and their mistresses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the trashiness part. And then, if they try to improve on the trashiness, what happens? It goes to the terroristic part. And that same thing has permeated what we call black culture.
Many non-white people waste too much time, energy, and money by promoting and or participating in frivolous parties and social gatherings. Most so-called social gatherings of non-white people are none other than excuses to show off or gossip and or engage in nitpicking or meticulous plotting. Such contacts usually serve to do little more than promote animosity, conflict, show-offism, dishonesty, gossip, and other forms of unnecessary and destructive activity. So he gives us 4 basic show-offisms by or among the victims of racism and non-white people. The first is showing off to each other the things that white people have allowed them to obtain. Showing off to each other the information that white people have allowed them to obtain. Showing off to each other the ability to belittle each other. And 4th is showing off to each other their ability to make sexual impressions on each other. How y'all doing? Welcome back. Happy Monday. This is On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward, and I am continuing my review of Neely Fuller's groundbreaking landmark book, The Compensatory Code, or the official title is The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, a compensatory counter-racist code, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism or white supremacy. And today I am reviewing the area of entertainment, which is pages 119 to, what is this? 119 to 129. So it's a short section, but powerful. So 119 to 129. So let's get back into it because we're talking about entertainment, the way we entertain ourselves. And the overall concept of this is constructive entertainment. Are we engaging in constructive entertainment? You saw the video, you heard the clip, you see how we entertain ourselves. We find the lowest forms of the ways that we treat ourselves to entertain ourselves. These are the things that get the most views from us. The worst behavior gets the greatest response. Something is wrong with that. Think about it. Think about all the things that you consume, because reading this chapter, I'm like, dang, I got to change a lot of stuff. A lot of the things that we consume is not constructive at all. It's not helping us get to our goals. It's not helping us achieve our goals. It's not helping us fight the system of white supremacy. We are just feeling good. And what I like about this video is this video complements our breakdown from Friday, which is a two-part breakdown of Neely Fuller and Amos Wilson talking about the feel-good Black history and Black people's need to feel good. This is just a complementary to that because it's going into our need to feel good within the system of white supremacy. What we do to make ourselves feel good, even though overall we don't feel good because we're still victims of white supremacy. So let me continue. As long as racism, white supremacy exists, any deliberate gathering of more than two people, specifically one non-white male and one non-white female, should always be for the purpose of doing constructive labor and or exchanging constructive information. And we know that is not how we exist. So we have to be honest. I'm being honest with myself. Like I say, this is pulling back the curtains on all of us. These are the changes we need to make if we're serious about defeating the system of white supremacy. Are we being the greatest versions of ourselves? Like, are we truly being the greatest versions of ourselves? Because let's just be real. This book is holding the mirror up to our faces. All right. No one understands that the white supremacists have a substantial influence on the ways in which many non-white people are so-called entertained. Much of this so-called entertainment has often included poisonous drinks and or drugs, gossip, name calling, trivial and or dangerous conversation, and unnecessary hostility due to the artificial need to appear more intelligent, more important, and more prosperous than anyone else. And we know that's how we exist. Not all of us. Of course, this is not saying every single Black person in America exists like this, but we do know that too many of us exist like this. Social media is showing us this. You see the clips. Non-white people have been greatly poisoned by the white supremacists, so much to such an extent that when substantial numbers of non-white people gather for purposes of entertainment, the poisoned speech and action by the people present does not produce a single activity that can truthfully be elevated as constructive. And we have to think about all forms of entertainment and all forms of so-called business that we get into that are entertainment atmospheres. When we get together, no matter the realm of what Black people exist in, when we're getting together, we're not truly being constructive. And when I mean constructive, I say constructive and coming up with plans, codes, concepts, and everything that we come up with to fight white supremacy, to free ourselves from white supremacy. We're not doing that. We're mostly just entertaining and celebrating ourselves. Let's be honest about it. Let's take a critical look. Let's really think deep. Let's think hard. When we get together, what is our overall goal? What is our overall purpose? What is because our idea of leisure is getting away from the work. But Neely Fuller is saying, how can you get away from the work when the work impacts every aspect of your life? There's no getting away from the work. You have to transform every aspect of your life to be something that is combating white supremacy. Because later on, we're gonna as I read some more in the notes that I have, and later on in this section that he's talking about, he's giving his ideas and his thoughts on how we can entertain ourselves, how we can have fun. But the main thing is, it all has to lead us back to achieving our goal. Avoid making comparisons between yourself and other non-white people. Avoid measuring yourself by watching what other non-white people do. Do not seek excuses to nitpick or gossip, and particularly do not for any reason spend time, energy, or money trying to show off. See, that's going to dent a lot of our culture. And then some people are going to, especially like when we talk about the donning of the gold chains and all the jewelry and things. I've even used the argument before in the past that, hey, we can go back to Africa and find some of our ancestors who donned all the gold and the jewelry. Yeah, but they were absent of the system of white supremacy. A lot of things that we like to look at those things either pre-contact or before Europe underdeveloped Africa. Shout out to Walter Rodney, right? In the process of the underdevelopment, when the Africans, their culture and their ways of living wasn't greatly affected by white supremacy. But under the system of white supremacy, the act of showing off with no substance behind it, with no goals behind it, just showing off just to show off, just to say, hey, I'm better than you, is non-constructive. So think about every aspect of our lives. I'm in the South. It's car culture down here. I'm in North Florida, South Georgia. It's car culture down here. Car shows. We black people in Florida, we show off. Black people, period. We be showing up and showing off. So we got to check all of that, because that even pertains to me. Because there have been plenty of times I've been showing off. So we got to check all of that. So his explanation is, many non-white people spend too much time comparing themselves to each other. They enjoy watching each other. They spend much time and energy gossiping about each other and showing great interest in nitpicking and trivial comings and goings of each other. Many of them spend better part of their existence seeking to promote jealousy, envy, and snobbery among themselves. However, if one understands anything about the people of the known universe, one should certainly understand that, considering all things, there is nothing involving a non-white person to envy, nothing to be jealous about, and nothing to be snobbish about. There is nothing about such behavior that is constructive or complimentary. Such behavior only helps to maintain the status quo of injustice and incorrectness, particularly the injustice and incorrectness, the injustice and incorrectness expressed in the form of white supremacy. It is important to remember, however, that no people in the known universe are the quality of people that any people should be. Therefore, there is absolutely nothing about any people that should provoke jealousy, envy, snobbery, gossip, or praise. So at the core of it, none of us is better than the other. At the baseline, we only see somebody as better than us because we give value to that. That's how we perceive that. We've been led to perceive stuff like that. So we create hierarchies based on the perception and the societal norms. He's saying, check that. Reverse that. You don't have to operate like that. If we operate and behave under the compensatory code that we create for ourselves, this code of conduct that we create for ourselves, if we operate in a codified manner, we can be able to reverse a lot of the ills and a lot of the programming that has led us to behave the way we behave, because our behavior in every area of human activity is destructive. That's why we're at the bottom performing wise when it comes to America. We're not competing at all. We're not competing at all because we're at the bottom. We should be competing. Every other group is outperforming us with the exception of the Native Americans. Every other group of people is outperforming us. And that is not great. The Asians are coming for us. They just don't have the numbers. They just haven't outnumbered us, but they are coming for us. They are outperforming us. They are the highest earning group of people in America. We got to get our stuff together. Every activity should be constructive. When talking about entertainment, ask and answer the following questions. Does the entertainment directly or indirectly cause people to think about replacing white supremacy? No. And racism with justice, balance between people? If the answer is no, it is incorrect to speak or act to support or promote that particular form of entertainment. So reading that just everything that I do has to change. I have to change a lot of the things that I do. Right? They have to be constructive. They have to, I have to, if I can't make them constructive, I can't do it. I have to make it constructive. During the existence of white supremacy, always expect most so-called entertainment for non-white people to be basically pitiful, primitive, stupid, and or silly. Expect much of this entertainment to glorify the killing and maiming of non-white males or the trashing and general mistreatment of non-white females. And we saw that in the clip. We saw all of that in the opening clip. As Neely Fuller was talking, we saw the visuals of how we are behaving. We're seeing black men as savage animals, and we're seeing black women as sex objects, as tools for sex and sexual activity. During the existence of white supremacy and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, it is incorrect to expect the white supremacists, racist man or racist woman, and remember, racist man and racist woman is the collective of the white supremacists, to promote forms of entertainment among non-white people that are deliberately designed to produce non-constructive results. Let me read that again. During the existence of white supremacy and according to compensatory logic, it is correct to expect the white supremacists to promote forms of entertainment among non-white people that are deliberately designed to produce non-constructive results. Look at what we watch on TV. Look at what we watch on social media. Most of the things that we consume as entertainment is non-constructive, it's destructive, it's ratchet. That's the word we use, right? Ratchet entertainment. We go as far as making excuses for the stuff that we consume, knowing that it's not good for us, but we like the way it makes us feel. Once again, our feelings are more important than liberation. That is a problem because that's really where we are. The entertainment makes us feel good. It's our idea, it's our belief that we are escaping from the system of white supremacy. No. It's like a drug that makes you feel good, but it's not good for you. It's actually doing harm to you, and it's helping to prop up the system of white supremacy. Because why fight the system of white supremacy when you're too busy feeling good? And if they take away your means of feeling good, you're just going to try to find another way of feeling good. But what you're not going to do with that mindset is fight the system of white supremacy. During the existence of white supremacy, sports, and see, this is really when it comes talking to me, because I like football, I like sports. I pretty much watch any type of sport. So he talking to me. During the existence of white supremacy, sports and entertainment are two things that the white supremacists allow many non-white people to participate in. Football, basketball, right? We try to take over. Think about the mentality of us. We be wanting to take over these things. We have to take over these white sports. Okay, so non-white people who are allowed to participate in sports and entertainment should do their best to use those activities in a manner that will result in teaching and or learning how to produce, maintain, repair, store, and transport something of constructive value that is wanted or needed that will fulfill a constructive purpose. But we're getting somewhere now. Shout out to my man Sam Carter, because as he says, as I read this, he's the first person that popped in my mind because he's the only person. Well, I'm not going to say the only, but he's one of the few people that I know that is using the realm of sports for a constructive purpose to actually show the athletes that he come in contact with. And he hasn't even read this book. I don't even think he know this book exists, but showing them how to be constructive. Really is showing them how to be constructive. So shout out to Sam Carter on that. All so-called sports and entertainment should be intentionally designed to educate about methods of replacing non-justice with justice. Such activity can be thought of as edutainment. And that's what this is right here. Edutainment. I understand our need to be entertained. I understand that. So I understand I need to be entertained. But my overall purpose is not to entertain, it's to educate. But I'm not crazy. I understand the realm that we live in. I understand the time, the culture. I understand white supremacy. So we got to make sure we get this information to our people the best way we can, using the best means that we can. But the overall purpose is not to get lost in the entertainment. It's the information and the utilization of the information, because that's the overall key, is the utilization of the information. We're not here just to talk. We're not here just to consume information. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to challenge you and myself, because this is not just, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me too. I'm here to challenge you and to challenge myself to be better. As long as white supremacy exists, do not think, speak, or act as if being praised by your abilities in sports and entertainment means that you are valued as a so-called human being. Listen up. What many white people see when they look at non-white people performing in sports and entertainment is not a person, but a strange, exotic, fascinating animal, possibly worthy of being sheltered, fed, groomed, decorated, petted, and proudly paraded at the end of a gildish lash. They see them as objects of labor, chattel. Same thing as horse racing. Same thing as going out there making them dogs run up and around the thing with the kennel club and stuff, right? You got the owners and then you got the athletes. And the owners have almost total control, and the athletes have the power that they think they have. Hey, remember we like to talk about owning our own sports leagues. You know what's funny about when black people talking about owning our own sports leagues? When a black person actually creates a sports league outside of Antonio Brown, but when a black person actually creates a sports league, black people don't support it. I find that, I understand why it happens, but I find it funny though, right? I find it funny. Whenever a black person creates a sports league, black people find so many excuses to not support it. But then when that sports league no longer exists and black people are going through issues with the white sports league, with the white-owned sports leagues, then we cry about not having our own. But when we had our own, we didn't support it. That's not constructive. But what Neely Fuller is saying, though, is the entertainment that we do consume, if we start consuming entertainment under the compensatory kind of racist logic, under a compensatory code, we can actually use the entertainment that we consume to help ourselves. Go figure. Whoever thought that you can actually use the entertainment that you consume to help yourself? Who knew that it could be more than just about making you feel good? So here's a question. During the existence of white supremacy, what is the best and correct way to describe the ways that white people entertain themselves as compared to the ways that non-white people entertain themselves? The answer is white people entertain themselves by promoting the glorification of white supremacy. Non-white people entertain themselves by directly or indirectly reacting to white supremacy in what ways? In ways that are mostly pitiful, primitive, stupid, and or silly. Reacting to white supremacy. That's the key to what he said. Reacting, because that's what we do. We're not proactive about white supremacy. We are always reactive. We're always reactive. Everything or most of the things that we're doing is a reaction to white supremacy. We're not proactive. And so that's the entertainment that we consume. I remember a video that a young lady showed a couple weeks ago. We was on lunch and a young lady showed me a video of this other young black girl she went viral for her rant about white supremacy, but it was just an emotional rant at the end of the day. A big reaction to white supremacy, a big emotional rant about an emotional rant about the system of white supremacy that she gave no thoughts, solutions, and or tactics about breaking down the system of white supremacy or even challenging it. We're just supposed to complain about it. And at the end of it, she basically gave the thought of, this is the white supremacy. This is the system of white supremacy. This is my complaint. These are my emotions, but there's nothing that we can do about the system of white supremacy. So what the hell are you talking for? What the hell are you wasting our time for then? Why are you talking to us? Why did you waste everybody's time with this non-constructive rant about white supremacy and all these feelings and all these emotions, then at the end tell us that there's nothing we can do about it? Sit your ass down and be quiet. If you don't believe we can do anything about white supremacy, you shouldn't be talking. We don't need to talk to you. This is for the people who believe that we can do something, that we can help ourselves, no matter the numbers. Here's another question. Within the system of white supremacy, how and when can non-white persons have fun? Great question. Great question. The answer is, do your very best to make all your work to be as constructive as possible. Then find ways to make all of your play or fun a part of your work. This also includes making both your work and your play effective in helping to end racism, white supremacy, and in helping to produce justice or balance between people. And this does not mean fooling yourself or trying to convince yourself that what you are doing is constructive. Is it actually constructive? Yes or no? This is a yes or no question. We don't need all the filibustering. Yes or no? Is what we are doing actually constructive? Yes or no? We don't need no excuses. We don't need no stories. We don't need no additions onto it. If you can't answer this question, yes or no, then that's a great indication that what we're doing is non-constructive. He's not saying you can't have fun, but he's saying under this system of white supremacy, your fun should be constructive in ways to producing justice ultimately. Change the way we think about fun, work, play, and all those things. Push it more to the constructive realm rather than the non-constructive, just make me feel good realm. Give me my fix. We're addicted to feeling good. We like addicts. We need our fix. It just keep calling us. It just keep calling us. It just keep calling us. Got to get out of that. But we do understand why we're like that. Because we understand why we're like that, the system of white supremacy has conditioned us to be like that so we can be good slaves. We got to reverse that. So here's another question. What kind of fun party should you attend, and what should be the requirements for self and others? The answer: do not attend any fun party except for an honest fun party. Do not attend any honest fun party or any so-called party for the purpose of having fun unless the party is attended by one yourself and one other person who is non-white, who is of the opposite complementary sex, and is no kin to you. If an honest fun party is attended by more than two persons of non-white male and non-white female, do not attend unless 1, no white people are present, 2, no harmful drinks or harmful drug chemicals are consumed or used, 3, no profane remarks are made, 4, no person is present who is wearing body ornaments or wearing any cover or garments other than necessary, and does not wear anything that would attract unnecessary attention. And five, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no touching of bodies except for males touching hands with females. So keep it simple, keep it constructive. It should not be, nobody should be there to show off. Nobody should be there to be reveled. Nobody should be there to be marveled. We should be there for constructive fun. We should be there for constructive activities, having fun. But we all know that at the end of the day, the activities that we are engaged in is helping to produce justice and fight the system of white supremacy. Here's a note. The need for an honest fun party involving more than 2 people should be for the purpose of promoting total honesty among the persons present and to minimize the tendency by the party participants to show off either in speech, action, or attire. What I just said, right? In addition, a fun party has no reason for existence except to have fun, should be conducted in such a manner as to produce or promote total honesty among its participants and to totally oppose hypocrisy and arrogance. Otherwise, no party for the exclusive purpose of having fun can be justified. Rather than having business meetings, too many non-white people insist upon having parties for the purpose of doing no more than having fun. They have no interest in doing something that will be greatly constructive in manners of economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and counter-war. These requirements for the honest fun party are necessary in order to help produce and maintain greater honesty and more constructive interaction among the non-white people who insist upon having parties for the purpose of having fun. And we know how that goes. We just have to have fun. Make it constructive. Make it good for us. Make it work for us. We have to get into that mindset of everything that we do has to benefit us more than just in an emotional place. How does it benefit me? Ask yourself that question. How does this realistically in real life benefit me? And if it doesn't, if you got to do that filibustering, then you know it don't benefit you. Don't be trying to justify nothing. Don't try to justify the bull. Does it really benefit you? Here's a note. Instead of fun parties, participate in business meetings and make sure that the business meetings, assemblies of more than 2 persons of complementary sex, male or female, are directly or indirectly associated with speech and or action that is intended to help end racism and help produce justice. With planning and focus, a fun party and a business meeting can be one and the same. You can have fun, just be constructive about it. Life don't have to be dull, but life don't have to be oppressed either. Life don't have to be the system of white supremacy either. It's our choice to continue to allow it to exist the way it exists and affect us the way it affects us, because we're not really doing anything constructive to fight it. We're talking about fighting. We're acting as if we're fighting, but are we truly fighting? Hell no. And we can see we're not, because the results, we haven't had any real results. And one reason is because none of the information has been used. When you are bored, study something of constructive value and or listen to constructive sounds. Look at everything around you and think about the reason for the existence of those things. Look at and think about the trees, the rocks, the grass, the mountains, the birds, the insects, etc. Think about the reasons for your existence and theirs. Use critical thinking, use thought. When asking to make contact with the person for purposes of producing comfort for your mind or body, try to make certain that all contacts are 1, sufficiently brief, 2, comfortable, and 3, constructive. Try to use the most of your time and energy being comfortable by being alone and doing something constructive that also gives comfort to you while you are alone. Some examples of possible constructive comfort are producing, repairing, studying, writing, and listening to constructive sounds, music, and messages. Here's another question. During the existence of white supremacy and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, what is worthy of laughter? And sweet, swift answer, absolutely nothing. Why are we laughing? What are we laughing about? Are we laughing about being oppressed? Are we laughing about still being under the system of white supremacy? If so, how has that become funny? How have you and me and us being dominated become funny? Here's another question. Oh, excuse me, here's the explanation. According to compensatory counter-racist logic, nothing that happens during the existence of white supremacy can be correctly thought of as funny, comical, or worthy of laughter or hilarity. The continuing tragedy is too great. When you hear or see a non-white person laughing during the existence of white supremacy, the one thing that you can be certain of is that absolutely nothing is funny. Nothing at all is funny about being dominated. Stop acting as if you should be entertained. Stop acting as if you should be the entertainment committee within the presence of white people, like he said in the clip, like we saw the women dancing on the tables in the restaurants. Stop swapping jokes with members of the non-white people. Stop swapping jokes with members of the white nation, the white supremacists. Such so-called joking serves no constructive purpose. It usually ends in telling of a joke that is not a joke, and the joke that is not a joke usually is a joke on you. You become the joke. We become the joke. If they are racist, they will be laughing at you, not with you, always. And Dave Chappelle learned that. Dave Chappelle talked about that. Hey, he thought they were laughing with him. Then he found out they were laughing at him. Do not expect to be happy all of the time and most of the time. Instead, expect happiness to come to you in moments that pass so swiftly that you will almost miss it. Full favor at its peak. You will miss the happiness. You will miss the feeling of happiness. It's not something that you are obligated to feel and have all of the time. Understand that there is no such condition as endless happiness or happily ever after. Remember and understand that happiness comes only in moments, is gone, and sometimes later comes in moments again. Think about happiness as being its very best when it comes while you are in the process of doing constructive work, while maintaining constructive use of body and mind, and while thinking about the source of all things, the Creator. If you are experiencing much luxury and much comfort and having lots of fun within the system of white supremacy, racism, do not allow such experiences to interfere with or to take place of you thinking, speaking, and acting with the intention of ending white supremacy and replacing it with justice. Now watch this or listen to this. The system of white supremacy is the greatest and most powerful expression of injustice among the people of the known universe. As the smartest and most powerful people, the white supremacists know how to produce injustice in such a manner as to provide some of their victims with much luxury, fun, and comfort. Experiences of luxury, comfort, and fun within the system of white supremacy is no reason and no excuse for not thinking, speaking, or acting to end white supremacy. As long as white supremacy exists, all luxury, comfort, fun, and entertainment, thrills, parties, and relaxation should be for the direct or indirect purpose of ending white supremacy and replacing it with justice. Point blank, period. Luxuries. White supremacy allows some of us to get the luxuries, and it messes us up. Nobody ever said that there were not any good white people. That's not even in this book. That's not even in the book. It's not even in the book. He's never said every white person was racist. But how does that negate the system of white supremacy? So one good white person help you, and now racism don't exist? Plenty of white people have helped me. White people help me all the time. That doesn't mean the system of white supremacy doesn't exist. So We did a breakdown a couple weeks ago about celebrities becoming our gods. These are the people that we idolize and look up to. The entertainers are the people that we deem the most important. But you see, they're leading us astray. Those of us who chose to follow them. Here's another question. Is it correct for non-white people to dance? If so, what for? The answer is do not dance or participate in so-called group dancing unless all of the persons participating have a collective understanding of what the dancing is designed to produce in regards to the result. Do not participate in group dancing unless for the following reasons. And listen to what he's saying. To exercise the body and mind for improved health. Yes. 2, to tell a constructive story with a constructive person, to help promote constructive communications between males and females prior to any active sexual intercourse, and the use of dance to stimulate the emotions that will lead to a constructive sexual experience. Because we know most of the dancing that we do is laced with sexuality. You saw the clips. All of the dancing that you saw in the clip in the beginning was all sexually suggestive dancing. Twerking, we know what twerking is. Twerking is about shaking that booty. Shaking that booty in a manner to show, hey, I'm good at sex. If you choose to dance, sing, or display your naked body to others, also be willing to explain truthfully and in exact detail all of your reasons for doing so. Yeah, people not doing that. People are not doing that because it empowers me. It makes me feel good. All right. According to compensatory logic, a person should be ready, willing, and able to explain truthfully and in exact detail all of the reasons why he or she chooses to do what he or she is doing while being viewed by and or while in the presence of others. The purpose of each dance should be totally understood by each person participating before beginning each dance. Yeah, that's not happening. There's no constructive or any real thought being put into it. There's no critical thought. That's what I was trying to say. There's no critical thought being put into it. A girl twerking or a dude. I'm from Florida, so the girls twerk and dudes loop dance, meat slang dance, right? It's all sexually suggestive. Girls throwing that butt and dudes throwing that meat. We all know what it's leading to. Hey, I'm trying to show you that I can tear that thing up. But we see where tearing that thing up has led us in our community. Great disparities. No constructive value with our sexual activity. But the entertainment is telling us to behave this way. The entertainment is promoting this behavior. No constructive value. Only disparities. Only disparities. Do not pretend that a particular dance is not designed or intended to promote thoughts of sexual intercourse when it is. When you dance, be able to explain truthfully to yourself and others why you are dancing and the ultimate purpose of the dance. When presented with a song, a story, a dance, a picture, or a poem, ask the following questions. What exactly is the constructive message of that song, story, dance, picture, or poem? The explanation of this is, according to compensatory logic, every song, story, dance, picture, or poem should have a message that causes a person to think and act constructively. Help to end hypocrisy in regards to nudity and entertainment. When a person says that he or she has posed or danced nude with the intention of being seen by others, ask them what was the ultimate purpose of doing so. Ask for examples of such activity having produced constructive thought, speech, or action. To get this money. That's the only answer. Get this money, to be seen, to be for clout, for views, for attention, money and attention. Because it makes me feel like I'm somebody. It empowers us. Sex empowers us more than justice. In the earlier chapters, Neely Fuller talked about it, and even Dr. Wilson talked about how powerful of an influence sex is on Black American culture. So all meetings of non-white people that include nakedness, nudity, dancing, music, art, etc. should be safe, serious, totally lacking in hypocrisy, and serve a counter-racist purpose in a constructive manner. Yeah, we got to throw it all away because we don't do none of that. We do it for pleasure. We do it to feel good. So we got to start over. We got to make it constructive. Is there a way that you can make some of these things constructive? Once again, if you got the filibuster to come to an answer, that means no. Then you got to throw it away. If you can't make it constructive, why keep it? If you're attracted to romance, and if you enjoy things or activities that are said to be romantic, be willing to admit to yourself and to others that you do. Also, if you are attracted to the idea of romance because it gives you a thrill or because it is exciting to you, do not deceive yourself into believing that romance, passion, or lust is the same as affection, caring, or love. I'm going to read that last part. Do not deceive yourself into believing that romance, passion, or lust is the same as affection, caring, and love. When the system of white supremacy, within the system of white supremacy, so-called romance and or being romantic means to act affectionate without being affectionate. It means appearing loving or acting loving without loving. It means producing the sights and sounds of so-called lovemaking without producing love. Within the system of white supremacy, so-called romance is a way of thinking, speaking, and acting that is sometimes promoted by the white supremacists in such a manner as to cause non-white people to think, speak, and act in a manner that is pitiful, silly, stupid, selfish, deceptive, confusing, and or disappointing. Romance can be dominated by greed, jealousy, passion, and or enjoyment without any way of being associated with the production of love. It is best and correct to think of love and justice as being one and the same. And that is true. The idea of romance, the idea of the spark, the idea of that love, that feeling, it's not keeping us together. It's not helping us. That I don't feel the chemistry. We're looking for Disney Channel love. Disney has us thinking that love is just supposed to happen, and romance and all these things. Like we've been conditioned by all of our forms of entertainment to think of romance and these fairy tale loves and stuff is just supposed to happen without the reality of what makes love happen. You have to make it happen. And we don't want to be honest about ourselves that our ideas of love and romance or our overall ideas of romance, and I will say we have backwards ideas of love because love doesn't help our relationships. It doesn't benefit our relationships. Everything is individualistic and selfish. We have the worst disparities when it comes to relationships as well. But we continue to consume entertainment that teaches us that unhealthy relationships are the norm. And if you don't believe me, just have conversations with people of various ages about relationships and watch all the vitriol and the disdain that comes out of them when talking about relationships, especially relationships with either black men or black women. Do not entertain yourself by supporting black self-hate songs, poems, stories, pictures, or etc. Do not buy, sell, give, receive, or exchange any items of entertainment that helps to promote name calling, discourtesy, cursing, robbing, stealing, fighting, killing, stupidity, or the general mistreatment or the hatred or concept of any people. Do not speak and or act in support of any sport or entertainment wherein people or creatures are required or expected to do willful or deliberate physical, mental, or non-constructive harm to each other. During the existence of white supremacy, people or creatures are at all times taught, enticed, bribed, and or forced to speak and or act to do harm to one another, and to do so in a manner that is non-just, incorrect, and non-constructive, only for our purposes of entertainment to feel good about ourselves. When producing realistic portrayals of the activities of non-white people, try to also include realistic portrayals of the interactions between non-white people and white people, as well as interactions between white people with each other. During the existence of white supremacy, and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, any form of storytelling about non-white people must include a substantial number of white people if the so-called storytelling is both realistic and constructive, and of constructive value in teaching about the need for justice and correctness. So that is entertainment. Our entertainment is another form of the continuance of white supremacy, because it reinforces degenerate behaviors in Black people in America, which is spread throughout the world. Just look at the drill music. The drill music that was created in Chicago is very, very, very violent music that people basically snitch on themselves and talk about all the crimes that they commit. And that form of music has spread throughout the world. And people all throughout the world want to be drill rappers. All of the negative culture, all of the negative cultural traits of Black people that we show through our forms of entertainment has spread throughout the world. And our degenerate behavior is on display for everybody to see. But we don't care, because we see, as Neely Fuller said at the end of that clip, we really fight for, and we see that as our culture. That is what we see as Black culture. We think the worst of us, the worst behavior that we can think of that we exist is Black culture, because anything that is associated with correctness and righteousness and justice and peace and harmony and being good people, being upstanding people, being productive people, anything associated with that is only associated with being white. Think about that. Even our entertainment reinforces the messages that if we are going to be anything, we're going to be nothing but jesters, and any form of progress or upworthy movement has to be associated with whiteness, because only whiteness is success, and everything associated with Blackness is degenerate. And we reinforce the stereotypes. You can't be mad at the images and the entertainment when it's destructive, when you willingly produce it. Happy Monday. I love you all. I hope you learned something. Let's utilize this information that we consume and make our future better. And make sure y'all catch the next video. I love y'all. Peace out.